Hi, I'm Martin Jarvis, and once again, I want to welcome you to Listen. Quit tripping over what white folks are saying and doing. I mean, it seems to be, especially on social media, that's all we see. We need to recognize that these social media sites, they count on our reaction, okay? That's how they market themselves to advertisers, by how many clicks they get on their websites, okay? That's marketing. So they're going to say the most outrageous things. They're going to say whatever they can say that's going to get people to respond, okay? And so the response isn't going to do you any good. It's not going to happen because you're saying it, or it's not going to stop happening because you're saying it, on social media. But they're going to get offers from advertisers on how much advertisers are going to spend on their website simply because they see how much traffic they're getting based on the titles that they're using that are causing us to click on them, okay? So just realize that. We don't need to be responding all the time. I mean, there is nothing in this nation that can be, maybe because I came up in the 70s, and the 80s, and the 90s, before there was social media, 70s and 80s, especially the 70s. I was a young teenager, I was a military man, in the 70s, okay? And this stuff was going on. So nothing that's going on today is any different than what's been going on, okay? Except the fact that these websites are getting paid now for how much we respond to them, okay? But typing, OMG or WTF or whatever on social media is not going to help the situation. The only thing that's going to help the situation is folks, black folks, particularly for this program, black folks, helping ourselves, take care of our own business. We might be proclaiming Black Lives Matter, but the harsh, cold reality is that black lives really only matter to black people, okay? Substantially matter to black people. There's nothing anybody else can do about it. But because you've had a lot of white folks over the years, that have been sympathetic to the black cause. Yet still, 150 plus years after emancipation, we're still going through this mess. So there's an old saying that evil only prevails when good men do nothing. So although folks may have been sympathetic to the black cause, they were still benefiting from the system, as it was. You are the only one that's going to be able to make your situation any better. And so we got to stop looking around. We got to stop looking around. Especially, and I think for me, one of the pet peeves from black people, our people, is asking for help. Asking for consideration, asking for intervention. And the reason I say that, well, look at recently, this Roe v. Wade thing, right? The abortion issue. How the Supreme Court reversed it, right? Actually said, it's not a constitutional right, but whatever it was, they took away what had been in place for 50 years. So forget the subject. We see firsthand how something that can be given to you, seemingly etched in stone, and taken for granted that it's yours, can be taken away. See, anything that's given to you can be taken away. Anything you take and appropriate as your own, on your own, cannot be taken away, For me, this, whatever I attain, could be what I'm given could be taken away. Now, as many of you know, I earned my MBA from age 50 to 60. It wasn't fun, but I was determined. I appropriated that myself. No matter what I'm given or what can be taken away, what can never be taken away is what I appropriated for myself. That education is mine because I appropriated it. It wasn't on. You see Bill Cosby, right? This just hit me. Okay, Bill Cosby was given honorary degrees, like from here and there, for money that he donated. He was given honorary degrees, and when all that mess went down, they took those honorary degrees away. Now, if he had attended that university and had earned that degree, I don't care if he had murdered 100 people. They could not take what he earned, what he appropriated himself. Anything that's given to you can be taken away. So quit begging folks to give you this and to give you that, okay? And just to be more clear, you know, we talk a lot about welfare, people using and abusing welfare. Now, it's a fact that there are more white people in this nation on welfare, way more than black people, simply because of the population of white people. There are more white people on welfare than black people. So let me assure you, no matter what they say, they're not gonna, you know, stop welfare. As long as they have Appalachia, as long as they got all these other folks on welfare. But if something pops up and they decided to, they could, or they can make it difficult, or they could change the rules, you know, because it's something that they're giving to you. So what I'm suggesting today is we need to stop begging. We need to stop complaining and pleading. I mean, you're trying to tell people, look how you're treating this guy in Akron who was shot 60 times. And look how you're treating that Illinois shooter who they took peacefully into custody, and he had murdered a whole bunch of people and wounded many others. Do you think they don't already know this? I mean, it reminds me of when my son played baseball, and growing up as a kid. And I remember taking him to the batting cages. And, you know, I played baseball when I was a kid. So he's at the batting cages in there, you know, and he's hitting some of them, and he's swinging and missing and missing. I'm saying, Martin, you swing too quick. Martin, you swung too slow. Martin. Finally he stops, puts his bat down, walks over to me at the cage and says, Dad, I'm standing right there. I see what happened. You don't have to tell me. I was like, oh yeah, you know, you're right. And I took that. I accepted that. But what I'm saying is the things that we're telling the white people that they're doing, how they're not being fair, how they're treating this black guy this way, and they're not treating the white guy that way, all the stuff we're pointing out on social media, they're right there. They know. They've always known. When you start talking about white privilege, you talk about critical race theory and all the benefits you get, yeah, and they don't want to hear, they know. So what are we going to do about it? They're not, what incentive do they have to fix a situation that is benefiting them, okay? None. So I'm just saying, and when they don't want to hear critical race theory taught in school, they don't want to hear what they already know. So what? You think teaching critical race theory is going to change anything? Critical race theory isn't for white folks. Critical race theory is for black folks, so we can understand how we've been brainwashed to believe that we're something that we're not, okay? All the negative character traits that we're exhibiting, all the self-sabotaging antics that we partake of all of our lives. These are the things, the alcohol, you know, addiction, the drug use, let weed be legalized. These are all issues that we have that we don't realize we are brainwashed into sabotaging our own success. For real. All the self-destructive things that we do, still breaking the law, not being healthy, not eating healthy, being obese and overweight and just not caring, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, all these self-inflicted issues that we have that could easily be thwarted if we would just exercise and eat right, but we won't. Why won't we? Because we've been brainwashed to believe that we can't, and so we don't. All the issues of our lives, even, from the negative side, from the illegal side, the gang violence and the stuff, how we killing each other. Why do we believe we need to? Take it all the way back to slavery, how they would have us at odds with each other, with people of different tongues, of different lands, enslaved together. It got us to the point where we're jealous because one is treated better than the other. So you got generations and generations of now people with these mindsets, where they're not really even responding to each other as black people, right? We got schools where we have all white teachers from the time we're in kindergarten till the time we graduate, from high school. So what are we thinking at that point? We're going into the corporate area and the business areas where black people are not in charge. They are the workers. So what message are we getting from that? This is where we belong. I'm telling you, man. This is not where we belong. So critical race theory is for us to begin to recognize who we are not and who we really are and the abilities that we have that we can achieve great things, okay? And what we so often do, I think we talked about in the last program, is that we are in a situation, an environment in this nation where we are not treated fairly, we're not treated equally, okay? And so we are pushing for our equal rights, pushing for equality, to rid ourselves of oppression and all this stuff. Then all of a sudden something else comes up over here that's very important to them, and then we link arms, okay? So we're still pushing for our equal rights, and all of a sudden the abortion issue comes up, and now we're going to link arms with these folks over here because they're mad because their abortion right, their choice is being taken away. Well, see, they're not in the same battle. We're looking for equal human rights in this land. They're just looking for this particular right is being taken away and it's not fair. So we leave our more important battle to go link arms with them and fight this battle. And guess what? They'll win this battle eventually. And then what? Then they're okay and you're back here still being unequal. That's what's going on with this abortion issue. I'm telling you, man, this is not our issue. Now, it was initially our issue, because it was a conspiracy. Here we go. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but let me just lay this on you. I put this in the last program, but I guess I need to repeat it this program. Back in the 70s, I was a young man, and I remember when the numbers came out that in the 21st century, this century, that white people were no longer going to be the majority in this nation. And let me tell you, that freaked a whole lot of people out. And black folks, we loved it. Oh man, we loved it. It was great. We were high-fiving each. I mean, it was a great thing, man. It just made you feel good. It felt like there was a victory, even though it was simply a prediction, a demographic prediction for later on. So what happened? So what did we have? Do you think the powers that be in this nation were going for that? No. So they came up with a plan. It was a two-pronged plan, what they call in the military a flank, okay? Where they attack you from the front and attack you from the back, okay? So what you got is immigration policies. Immigration where you're not letting black folks into this nation. Immigration policy where you're letting white folks into the nation. So what are you doing? You realize that there's going to be a population issue in the future, 30 years from now. So right now we're going to start limiting the number of black folks that are coming into this nation, adding to that non-white population. At the same time, we're going to be opening these floodgates, allowing white immigrants into the nation. We know this. This is something that we've seen, we've complained about on social media. We know this to be true. Man, you get a whole boatload of Haitians, we're going to turn them back. But we're going to ask these Ukrainians just to come on into our country and we're going to pay for your college for free at a HBCU, right? Okay, so that's the first point. The second point are these abortions. The abortions were not intended for white people. This whole Roe v. Wade, the abortion, I mean, the white folks may have championed it. The plan was, the assumption was, that the dire straits, the communities that these black people were living in, a lot of black people were going to be having these abortions. So now you're limiting the immigrants into the nation, and you're encouraging and having a whole lot of black babies being aborted, or fetuses being aborted. Limiting the black population, stymieing that demographic prediction for the 21st century. But the monkey wrench in the plan? White women begin loving abortion. That threw a monkey wrench in it, okay? So now they're on my choice. They're so mad about not getting your choice. And when we got the black women and black men and black preachers, linking arms with them and forgetting that we're still trying to get equal rights over here. Why would I be over here with you for your luxury of your choice that you just lost, when I'm still trying to have equal rights for all black people? Because the moment you get your choice, you're fine, and I'm back here still trying to get equal rights. And again, the most liberal, bleeding heart, progressive Democrat white person who might have a heart for the suffering black people still they have benefited from privilege from the time they stepped into this world all of their lives. And I'm not even ragging on them. I'm ragging on black people right now because our wellness is up to us. We have to stay focused. Look, if the situation was reversed and black people had the privilege and white people were the oppressed, I believe my personality, I would be a champion for the oppressed white people. You know, white lives do matter. You know, I'd be out there trying to help them. But at the same time, if I had a granddaughter, I'd still want her to take advantage of every privilege she could in the best schools, in the best environment, in the best colleges. If she gets a break over a job because she's my black daughter, I want her to have it. So although I feel for the suffering of these oppressed white people, I still want my black daughter to take advantage of all the privileges she can so she can be successful in life. So the point is, I'm not even ragging on white folks for their privilege. I am suggesting that black folks, you need to be taking what is yours. For me, my degree. I went to school. I went to Sinclair College when I was 50. Just to get an associate degree. 10 years later, I had an MBA. What I'm saying is I was 50 to 60. Can't very well use that much, except I've written like 8 books. I love putting Martin Jarvis MBA on there. But the point is, if I could do it when I'm 50 to 60, and you're 30, or you're 25, you got no excuse. Figure it out. Make it happen. Because nobody's going to give you anything. You know, one of my maybe I should entitle this program My Pet Peeves, okay? One of my pet peeves are black folks, our folks, complaining about minimum wage. That the minimum wage needs to be raised because the minimum wage is not a living wage, okay? Well, my question then is, why are you desiring to live on minimum wage? Is that the high? Is your expectations? And I know a lot of white folks the same way, but I'm not talking about them right now. Because they got a privilege you don't have. Whenever they wake up, all they got to do is walk in that door and the whole life changes for them, okay? But I'm suggesting right now is you're going to have to work a little harder. You're going to have to take what you want. So the first thing is your mindset. Quit settling for, I am satisfied with the minimum wage. Please raise the minimum so I can stay on minimum wage. What's that all about? Don't do that. Are you smoking weed? Quit. Drinking alcohol? Quit. Are you eating bad food and unhealthy? Quit doing that. And get educated. So how do you get educated? Well, the same way I did. I'm going to tell you that. Because I did piss some people off. I was on Facebook. Some folks out in California were complaining about the minimum wage and how hard it is to survive. My response was, you need to make yourself more marketable. Boy, they got mad at me. Okay. So then I went to explain. So look, first of all, I worked in the post office for like 28 years. For 26 years, maybe 25 years or so, I was carrying mail in the inner city. My route was 20 miles long. I used it like exercise, so I was double timing, eating right, and you take whatever negative situation, try to make the best of it. That's what I did. But anyway, the post office in every state in the United States is hiring, and they start at about $18 an hour. So if you want a job that's not minimum wage, go to the post office. They're going to hire you. Man, I know this lady, and she's like about 50-something years old. She just got hired on the post office. And I was talking to her, and she was just so happy. I mean, it's not easy. A lot of it is up here, though. She said she was working as a barista. I've been out of circulation for a while, but I assume that's a person. I think she's working in like a coffee shop or something like that. That was the impression I got. Or maybe a bar, I don't know, whatever a barista is, okay? But anyway, she said she just wanted to buy a house and got tired of just making the money she was making. And she just started working at the post office at age 50. And about 4 months into this lady's always cheesing and smiling. I said, what are you so happy about? She goes, I lost 30 pounds. She's making more money. What I'm saying is you want to raise your go to the post office, okay? Now the post office does have a high standard. You got to have a driver's license. And you can't have a bad driving record, okay? You may have an issue if you have a terrible record. You know, I don't even know. I know we had to go down to the police station and pull our own police report and give it to them. But anyway. So that right there is a thing. So for if you're watching this program, half of y'all or more could just go right to the post office and they'd hire you. I don't even believe they give the test they used to. They were the tough tests back when I came on. I don't even think it's the test anymore. They're just hiring folks that just want a job. Go down there, get a job. I believe they start at about $18 an hour, okay? That will raise your standard of living right there, okay? Secondly, now if you don't qualify for the post office for whatever reason, maybe you don't have a driver's license, you know, you should work on that and get that driver's license. But anyway, what I would do, go to Sinclair College. Now, the way I did it, I went to night school, and they have, I just took like one, I wasn't in a rush. And I think there was a quarter, I might have taken a couple quarters, I took like 2 classes, but then I started taking 1 class. There's no rush. But and they have, it's very inexpensive, and they have a situation, a way to pay where they'll take the money out of your paycheck, wherever you're working. And at that time, it was like $33 a credit hour, and most classes were like, say, 3 credit hours. So it was like $99 a quarter. And so they would take the money out, say, a payday. So that would be very inexpensive when you break $99 down into like a 3-month period, okay? And so if you're taking like 2 courses, it's still very minimal. Do that. Do that for a couple years while you're working your regular job. And maybe don't smoke weed, don't drink alcohol, don't go out, change the food that you're eating, don't blow so much food on money on fast food at all anymore. And so you survive, sacrifice to survive. Nothing in life worth achieving is going to be given to you. Sacrifice, figure out a way to make it work and make it work, okay? That's all I'm saying. And in time, 2, 3 years, this is what I did. It took me 10 years to get that MBA. So maybe 2, 3 years will go by, you'll have your associate degree. You go to an employer, say, I know I've been working here at McDonald's. I know I've been working here at Walmart or wherever I'm working. And say, but look, I went to night school, and in 3 years I got my associate degree. That employer is going to be impressed, because most people can't do what you just did. Most people don't have the fortitude. They don't have the integrity and the drive to start school and to finish with a degree. He's going to hire you, or she's going to hire you, and you're going to be making more money. and then what you do is don't call in sick. Do a good job. Don't act crazy. Be a very upstanding hard worker. You're gonna get raises within that organization. And while you're in that organization, you can go to Wright State and do the same thing you just did at Sinclair for 3 years. And in 3 to 4 more years, you're gonna you get your degree, and you're gonna go to another employer who's paying more and say, look what I did. I've been here all this time, but I went to school at night, got my bachelor's degree. He's going to be impressed, or she's going to be impressed. She's going to hire you, and and you keep doing that as long as you want to, man. I remember years ago, before I was even in school, and I kept this news article. There was this young lady, I think she's probably in her 30s or something. She had like 3 kids, 3 or 4 kids, and she was on welfare, and she had always, all her life, she always wanted to be a doctor. And this woman did what I just suggested to you, what I did and what you can do. She did it with the intention on becoming a doctor. It took her about 15 years. But guess what? She's a doctor. And she's probably retired by now. And so I'm saying is, if you have a desire, if you have a goal, formulate a plan and walk it out. And you might have to stop smoking weed, stop drinking alcohol, stop going out and partying. Start being more smart about the foods that you're eating and the foods that you're buying. Be more frugal, and you'll get there. You'll get there. You can do it. But you can't count on anybody to give it to you. And you cannot get yourself sidetracked by asking for handouts, asking for something from someone to give you, because it can always be, let me give you a story that you probably don't know. I don't think too many people know this story. Okay, Dr. Martin Luther King, back in the Civil Rights Movement. Lyndon Johnson, President Johnson, was very instrumental in some of the civil rights initiatives. He worked very closely with Dr. Martin Luther King and made some of those things happen. But you know what? At the same time that the civil rights movement was going on, so was the Vietnam War. And the Vietnam War was a very unpopular war in the United States. First of all, the Vietnamese people were really nobody's enemy as far as the regular person was concerned in America. And secondly, black folks were being drafted and sent into battle, and oftentimes on point, oftentimes with a very high mortality rate among the black soldiers. And only to the ones that did come back to come back home to the same oppression in this nation. And so Martin Luther King was starting to speak out against the Vietnam War. And Lyndon Johnson made a phone call to Martin Luther King Jr. and suggested to him very strongly that if you want me to continue these civil rights initiatives, you're going to need to stop bad-mouthing the Vietnam War. And so Martin Luther King Jr. stopped bad-mouthing the Vietnam War and our presence there. See, as long as you're expecting them to give you something, they got you by the hook. But if you determine that you're going to take what's yours, because it's your right, you take it, and what you take cannot be taken from you. That's all I'm saying. So we do have a ways to go in this nation. And again, I have a 5 or 6 part plan, okay? My plan, and I shared this last week, I don't know if it got any play, but my plan, if implemented, in 1 year, black people in this nation will be oppression-free. But it's going to take a sacrifice. We have to come together. We have to determine that we are going to stop smoking weed, stop doing any kind of drugs, stop doing any kind of alcohol. We're going to have to get healthy, food-wise and exercise-wise. We're going to have to get educated, kind of like the plan, if necessary, that I just shared. And we're going to have to get armed. If we do these 5 things, we will sacrifice ourselves right out of oppression in this nation. Because first of all, the weed and the alcohol, we're breaking the bank on institutions that are determined to make money off of our addictions. As far as eating right, all those junk foods that have permeated our nations, with our food deserts, in our neighborhoods and all, they're going out of business. I'm saying all those little junk food places. You know how much money we spend as a community with those businesses? I don't know, but it's a lot. I'm telling you, we could break those companies, at the same time get healthy, drug-free, alcohol-free, healthy, exercise, and get educated the way I suggested. Man, so that's not breaking any crimes at all. Did I remember to throw that in there? Because if you live a lifestyle like that, you've taken yourself right out of their reach. They cannot take you, they cannot oppress you, they cannot manhandle you, take you to jail and give you unfair sentences because you're taking yourself out of their reach. So in addition to the no more drug use, no more alcohol use, you're not going to get jammed up for drug or alcohol anymore. Not breaking any laws of any kind, no more running red lights, no more driving crazy, no more driving without a license or any of that stuff. They're not going to be able to pick you up. Don't break any more laws at all. I'm telling you, they're not going to be able to sentence you unfairly if you're not in the justice system. And get educated. Getting yourself out of a negative income situation, and get armed so you can protect yourself if necessary. Within 1 year, black people will be free in this nation. You say, well, that's just not fair. Why should we stop drinking? I was telling this one brother, now he's a real progressive brother, wants to do things for the community, and he's always on people's cases, white folks and even black folks. And his response was he still has to drink because he likes his drink, but he doesn't drink too much. He still has to smoke cigars and all this stuff. I'm like, man, if you can't sacrifice that little, how can you ask anybody else to sacrifice something that's important to them? And so it's going to take a determination. But see, it's a lot easier to blame white folks than it is to take the responsibility to do what we need to be well. So just kick that around. We'll talk about it again next week. I do want to thank you once again for joining me and listening. And I want to invite you to listen again. You take care. Bye.